Kristen, you're coming up for a chance right now. Have a little delay here. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. It's so great to have you here today. We have a special service today. We are in the house with new guest here, but above all, I want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day and know that you have a joyous time with your family, even if it's at a distance, and that we honor all mothers today. I want to welcome Charlie Thompson. It's been a while since you've been with us today. We've been with our service today, and it's so great to have you back with us. And he and Kristen are going to open us up for community chants here. So glad you're with us today.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Peace, I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. Joy, I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. Love, I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns to me.
What a beautiful way to begin our service today, just sending our love and peace out to those whom we care about, as well as those of all of you who are watching. I want to welcome anybody who might be here for the first time watching us, or people that might be out of state or not in our valley, as well as our regular community members. So it's so great to have everybody here today. We've had hundreds of people watching every week, and it's so delightful that we're able to share this in a way that brings it into your living room. There was a joke I put on Facebook this week about somebody showing up for services in their pajamas and their little slippers when we do bring services back in person. And I want to assure you it's fine if you do that. Bring your coffee and come on and come as you are. We always have the statement, come as you are and leave as you want to be. And we're planning for those services. We're thinking sometime in June. And it'll be so delightful to have everybody back together again. But in the meantime, we are having a glorious celebration this morning. So great, as I mentioned before, to have Charlie here and Kristen doing the chant, as well as we have two musical guests that you're going to just be delighted by this morning. And I'll introduce them later in the service when they sing, but it's going to be a good service. To welcome you, we do a blessing usually at the end of our service, but I'm beginning to do it at the beginning of the service to bless you right where you are. And as an affirmation for who you are and who you are in the world, because I know we're doing so much out in the world just as ourselves. So I'll repeat it and you can repeat it. I'll say it and you can repeat it after me. So we usually raise our hands and we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community and beyond. Thank you. And we also like to repeat our vision and mission statement of the center. So we'll repeat that. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. And so it is. Before we begin our services, I wanted to offer a couple of announcements. One is that Kristen is starting her class this week on Tuesday. Do you want to come up and mention something about it? It's a prosperity class.
Yeah, so it's called Circulation Joining the Dance, and we're just going to have a really wonderful time together, kind of playing in that dance and the law of circulation and giving and receiving and just exploring all of the possibilities and potentialities that exist when we just fully enter the flow and just are totally in it. And it's Tuesdays, 6:30 to 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. It's or Pacific Time, Daylight Time, whatever we're in. And it's by love donations. So please just come join us. We're going to have a lot of fun together. Everybody's welcome.
Thank you, Chris. And also, I'm doing a class on Thursday evening, and what's unique about it is it's a series, but you can just come to one or more of the You don't have to come to the whole thing. It's Thursday at 7. The link for both these classes online. This week, we're going to be talking about heart coherence and also about the Power of 8. We'll actually be doing a Power of 8 group, so please join us for that. The links are online about how you do have to register ahead of time because they're on Zoom online. You need to know a code to get on because we want to know who's coming into the room to be a secure site. So, and then on Friday, May 22nd, we're doing a special benefit, a music benefit, having friends of ours who are New Thought musicians, and along with some interviews in between things, just as a benefit for our center as well as our outreach. And so please join us from 5 to 8 p.m. on Facebook. That'll be, and YouTube as well. We have an online directory. We're restarting that idea using our new software system, Breeze. You should have received an email, but if you didn't want to be part of that directory, please contact Mary at the office by phone or by email, and she'll be glad to set you up with that. Join the Zoom community after this service. There's a link there on our website to join us. It'll be a briefer one today. It is Mother's Day, so I think people are going to enjoy time to do that, but we'll still connect today. And finally, we appreciate your prayers for us as we pray for you at this time when so many challenges are around. We also appreciate your financial support. You can do your financial support in a number of ways. PayPal.me/ so PayPal.me/NVCSL is the easiest way to do it, but you can also do mail us a check or do bill pay directly to us, either one. We received a number of checks over this week, and we appreciate all the support that we're giving. And now we'll begin the sacred part of our service.
Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti. Om Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti Om, Shanti. I'm just allowing those words to bring you deeper into this meditative space. The place within that knows and remembers the truth that there is only that one thing going on, the one infinite, absolute, eternal presence. That one thing that is love and peace. It is power and joy. It is abundance and prosperity. It is health and wholeness. It is all of the goodness and the fullness, all of the potentiality and the possibility. It is everything, everyone, everywhere, everywhen. This one I am presence, and I know that because there is only this I am presence, that each and every one of us is the I am that I am. Each and every one of us is fullness and goodness. Each and every one of us is abundance and prosperity. Each and every one of us is joy and bliss, power and love. We are possibility and potentiality all wrapped up in these divine human forms. So just breathing in that knowing, breathing in that truth. We settle even deeper into this space. And we just stop and allow the silence to take us deeper. Expressing profound gratitude for this silence that is just knowing of truth. We simply let it go, let it be, know it is done, and so it is. Are you? So now I'm super delighted to introduce our musical guests today. Lisa and Mark are coming up, and Lisa is going to sing, and Mark is on the guitar, and I got to hear the sound check, and it is incredible. So y'all enjoy, and thank y'all so much for being here.
Wanted for me, and though our eyes may look alike, but they don't see the same things. Hurt made a great divide, I added to the pain. My way to survive was cutting you out. Oh, I was just a child. I no longer recognize, and now I'm seeing you. Maybe the first time, 'cause mother, you did the best you could, the best you can. I know you did the best you could, the best you can. Do you know you did the best you could, the best you can? Forgive me now. Oh, I understand. They say we turn into our parents. I guess we know now what they mean. We may be made of broken pieces, but that's not how it has to be. Your mother's mother taught her only how to love from a fearful, broken, empty place. Oh, you were just a child, taught to shoulder the blame, but you're a woman now. You can lift your face, 'cause mother, you did the best you could, the best you can. I know you did the best you could, the best you can. Do you know you did the best you could, the best you can? Forgive me now. Oh, I understand. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mother, you did the best you could, the best you can. Do you know you did the best you could, the best you can? I know you did the best you could with what you had. Mother, 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 you did the best you could, the best you can. I know you did the best you could with what you had. Mother, you did the best you could, the best you can. Forgive me now. Oh, I understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa and Mark. That was just delightful to have that today. And they're both locals. That's what we're tapping into our local talent here in the Valley. So it's great to have more people here. And as I mentioned to you previously, we're having a lot of a variety of music to open up to choices we have here in this day. So I want to give a special shout out to mothers here today, to all in our community who have birthed or helped raise a child or both. We know it's a thankless job, that there are so many parts of a mother's jobs that are always 24/7, 365, and it's only become increasingly challenging, especially for mothers of young children during this pandemic. But even mothers that are distant from their children, it's a heart pain, and so we just want to have empathy for mothers on this Mother Day and a special honoring of that role that you have. And we also honor people who, we not all of us had nurturing mothers who gave us all that we needed growing up. And so whether you did or did not, it's always great to have other women in our lives, aunts or neighbors or stepmothers or adopted mothers or just friends, cousins that helped raise us and nurtured us in this feminine way, this divine feminine way. So we honor you in this way, and may we all be open to being that nurturing presence to all people in our lives, especially the young people. My mom is turning 90 this June, and her name is Pat, and I don't know if she's listening today, but if so, that's great. And I just honor her. I talked to her yesterday. We had promised her in June to have a reunion when she turned 90 down at the South Padre Island in Texas, where we grew up and went to the beach many times. But with the coronavirus and everything, I'm not sure if I can travel by air, and people are kind of hemming and hawing where they should gather. And she basically said, well, she's in assisted living now. And she said, I'm going to the beach, whether anybody's going with me or not. So I always say that people that you get to live to be 90 by either living a good life or being stubborn, and she's a little of both. So I honor her, and some of us are going to go to the beach. I'm going to try and go. I don't know what air travel is going to be like, but the people that are able to drive are definitely going to the beach with her to honor her, because I think always quality of life over quantity of life. So I just want to wish my own mom a happy Mother's Day, and Mother's Day to all mothers out there today, to honor you. We're also grateful on this day. It's often a day we think about the divine wisdom, the divine mother that's present in all of us, that we honor that aspect of ourselves, the integration of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So we honor that part of ourselves today, which is perfect as we talk today of our theme about nurturing our soul, and today in particular about listening to the heart. You know, the first sense of love we had, the first sensory we had at all was this sense of being in this embryo and surrounded by love. And to hear our own mother's heartbeat when we couldn't even hear our own, when our heart was so little, but the sound of this heartbeat, and it imprinted in us this love and this deeper connection and this nurturing that was available to us then. And how beautiful is this idea that we continue to open up to this primal sound in the universe that we call heart. We don't mean necessarily our physical heart, but our inner spiritual heart, or heart chakra that's in the middle of our chest that we can listen to, that has a different rhythm, a different sound, and yet instinctually we can know what it is. When you think of a doctor or anybody who uses a stethoscope to listen to a heart, they have to slow their own body rhythms down. They have to quiet their own voice and their own inner sounds, including their heartbeat. They lower and sync themselves to be able to hear, because it's a very sensitive thing. And so it is with our own abilities to listen to our own inner heart that we need to slow our rhythms down. And the other thing is a trained doctor can listen to a heart and know if there's some abnormality in it by simply using a stethoscope, and whether more tests have to be run. And so it is with our tuning in to our inner heart that we learn the language of the heart, and we can understand what it is saying in better ways. But it's tuning into this and finding the wisdom. I'd also say our inner heart has a different language. Like if we have a particular kind of problem of any kind, or we're just trying to open up to what is our highest and best in any situation, our mind will give us ideas and plans and steps and ideas about pros and cons of certain things. But our heart is much different. It doesn't speak in words and steps like that. It gives us a sense or an experience of what it would be like if there was more love in the situation, or more peace in this situation. It can be a gentle whisper. It can be a longing when we're not even sure what it is we're longing for, or we know that something good is happening through us, even if we don't know what that good is. It's undefinable, yet it's a strong sense. And what I've experienced at this, we have this balance of this head and the heart going on, because we really need both. I'm not saying only the heart or only the head. That when our mind identifies something as a problem or something we need to do, we turn to the heart and allow it to give us a sense of what's the highest and best. And we carefully don't let the mind go too much into the defining it, but we can turn to our mind eventually to do some creative brainstorming on how to create it, but staying with that experience of the heart that we're wanting to create, not getting into this thought, because when we get into our mind about what it's going to look like, then that can lead to expectations which stand in the way of these wonderful things coming through us. So we listen to this heart, we have this experience, and then we do this combination of head and heart, and we also go back to the heart when we feel disappointed or our expectations aren't met, and when it's not working out the way we think it's going to work out, that we turn to the heart to provide courage and determination to get through the tough times. Like now is one of these tough times that we really need the heart to, because our brain wants to make up stuff right now, wants to jump the gun and say, oh, we're being contained, we have to be free. But if we're willing to be patient and endure, we can get to the point where we're going to be able to get into what our governor talks about, the phase 3, where we're going to have in-person services. And now there's already some freedom happening. We can still be responsible in how we do that, to take care of ourselves so that we're taking care of others too. But to be in this place of opening, this place of listening to the heart. The other thing I would say about this is when we talk about the balance between the head and the heart and our body, this integration, I would compare it to the way that we design a meal. So we always, when we think about having a balanced, nutritious food, we want some protein, we want some vegetables, we want maybe some potatoes or grains or some kind of starch, and we maybe as we get older we have less of those starches and more of the green stuff, the vegetables, but we're all playing with this idea about what it is. But what's needed above all is a plate to put it all on. And our soul is the plate that holds our body, mind, and soul. It's what holds it together. It surrounds us. And the soul is what's connected with spirit in this oneness of all life. So it's almost like one plate with our balance of what we're seeking in. And sometimes there's different combinations of head and heart, of vegetables and protein, but it held in this plate. But then there's this bigger plate, this bigger platter, this bigger universe that it's all held within, that continues to inform us and guide us and allow us to know what is highest and best, that for this plate of food that's a metaphor for our creation of our life. While it may sound complicated, it's really not, because the way of the heart is simple. And when we're making it complicated, then it's the head. And when we're exhausted from trying, it's the head. Because the heart is always renewable, it's always nurturing, it's always creative, it never gets tired. It's the heart that continually beats within us, that allows us continually to live to this way that we have, that we seek this experience we have. Ernest Holmes has a great quote from the Science Mind textbook. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, "The sweet song of the silence, forever singing in my heart. Words cannot express, the tongue cannot tell. Only the heart knows the songs which were never sung, the music which was never written. I have heard that great harmony and felt that great presence. I've listened to the silence and the deep places of life. I've stood naked and receptive to thy songs, and thy have entered my soul. I am lost in the mighty depths of thy inner calm and peace." And this is the experience we can have in the heart, the depths of thy inner calm and thy peace whenever we want it. So when we feel tired, when we feel exhausted, when we feel depleted and hopeless, then we turn to the heart, because it's always renewing, like the blood that flows through us. It continually moves. It continually allows us to be replenished. So we turn to that. And we know that in this way we can experience the possibility of what seemingly our mind thinks is impossible. We can experience the possibilities in our heart. Mark Nepo, in his book, 7,000 Ways to Listen, just a wonderful book. He's such a lyricist in the way he writes. He retells the story of Ludwig van Beethoven. And I don't, you've probably listened to his music, but you might not know much about his life. So early on, he was a child prodigy that could just pick up the piano. At age 5, he was playing like an adult would play. And his talent was, his father became obsessed by his son's talent and obsessively pushed him. His father was an alcoholic, so through his drinking, it became unhealthy the way he pushed his son. But still, his son heard this inner call, this inner heart, this inner wisdom that was there, that was so profound that he wanted to continue to do it. But he struggled Beethoven did, between the world, who had greater expectations as he did public performances at 12, whole concerts that people paid for, and the demands of his father, and this inner heart that was just amazing. It would continually be a whole world with him. And he sought this still point, this inner silence, more and more, and tried to push away the world, but it became such a conflict for him. His only rest was in his mother's love for him, that he wrote about later on. But interesting, as he became an adult, he moved away from home, but this yearning for inner silence continued to spend more time focused on the music and less time with the conflicts of the outer world. And it's interesting, by the time he was 40, I think it was, at least in the last 20 years of his life, he began losing his hearing. And so in the last 20 years of his life, he was completely deaf. I think it's interesting, I don't know, and I wouldn't want it to be a judgment, but it's ironic that here he was seeking the silence and he became deaf. Perhaps that was a creation of his consciousness. Perhaps it was just something that happened. Not knowing him, I don't know. But what I do know is the last 20 years of his life, he created hundreds of his best work when he couldn't hear. And became more and more frustrated by not being able to hear what, he couldn't perform and hear out loud what he was hearing within him, almost to the point of becoming suicidal at times. But he persevered because people kept telling him how wonderful this music was. One of his final compositions was his Ninth Symphony and the Ode to Joy. And it had been 12 years since he'd had any kind of public performance, but he decided this one, he just was so happy with it. So he literally he wanted to conduct the symphony. And so he did so, but they made him stand on stage as if he was conducting the symphony, but the real conductor was below, who was really conducting the symphony, who could hear what the symphony was doing. But he acted out in such a way as if he wanted to play every instrument and hear everything. And when the symphony came to the end of the performance, everybody stood up in applause, but Beethoven, not hearing the end, was still conducting away until someone, put their hand on him, and he turned around and to see everybody, because he could hear the vibration of their clapping and their smiles and their adoration, and he came into tears. I think this is a fascinating story because the truth is, may we focus on what's inside more than what's on the outside. May we let this continually to be this song that we are singing, that we're clear about, that we're not worried about what other people think, that we are clear on and tuning into this heart that is the truth of who we are. and how we open up to this possibility of life itself. Michelle and I are fans of the television show American Idol because we love how the singers in the show grow and evolve and master them. And this last week, I was profoundly touched by an interview that Lionel Richie did of Stevie Wonder. What's interesting about this is I was listening to it, I just heard a truth, it came so true that I rewound it and rewound it a couple times. So I just love it. And we're going to try something new during the service. We're going to try a video, and I hope you can hear it because it's just a short clip of Lionel Richie and Stevie Wonder. Let's see if you can hear this.
You just have to be the character that you're creating. An example was Rocket Love.
Yeah.
So Rocket Love, I wrote in my sleep. When I heard it in my dream, I couldn't write the way it felt, the instruments that I heard.
Right.
But from that, I created the character, and then from that experience, words kind of flowed through. But nothing great comes easy. You just have to be the
That's great. I hope you heard that, and just the power of Stevie Wonder talking about this song that was in his dreams that he couldn't produce. He couldn't understand how to create it with the instruments in the way. So he had to be with this heart feeling, this imagination, this dream, this song, until he could find a way to create it. And I think for me, that's a metaphor of my life. And I think it applies to everybody, how you can be with this place of your heart and allow it to create something in your life. But it's important sometimes that we stay with this experience because we may not know how to create it in our lives. So stay with it, go back to it, revisit it. And then in time, allow your brain to begin to daydream and vision and create it. And if you find yourself disappointed, come back to the dream. Come back to the experience in your heart that you want to create. It is challenging at times. I know, to create that life that we really want, we desire. So just come back to the experience of it. We create it in our heart first, in our soul, and then we create it in the outer world. And sometimes we still have to have this dance between both. And so what I also know is that when we continue to listen to the heart, that we find the oneness, that we listen to this primal rhythm of our heart, and we are guided towards more compassionate choices, this wisdom that's in this one song, if you want to hear it. Mother Teresa says that God speaks in the silence of the heart, and listening is the beginning of our prayers. Listening is beginning our prayers. So as we seek to find this understanding of what Spirit is in our lives, we just open up in our heart and we listen, and we have a conversation. We have an opening. It can start out with right where we are. In this class that I had on Thursday, we had this great exercise we did, and it had to do with tapping. Now, the technique of tapping doesn't matter. You can learn it. But what's important about what the process was, that you started with being like almost complaining, like, this is where I'm at. I feel all alone. I'm trapped in where I am. I don't feel well. I wish I was this. I'm not liking this, but you're kind of tapping through this. And then you begin to switch to the more positive. But sometimes when we're with Spirit, when we can have this conversation with Spirit, we can just be with where we are at and allow ourselves to be real and authentic and allow it to turn. And this is what happens in our heart, is that we can emote, and then we can allow the shift to happen in our heart, because there's always this newness and unconditional and newness of experience that can happen in our heart. Allow it. Hold our prayers until we feel that shift. I know as practitioners, we do that we know the condition a person is experiencing, and we hold in our heart, and we know the shift that is happening, the turn that is happening. And there are many prayers that helps. This Thursday, we're going to do the Power of 8. And that's a powerful prayer, but there's other ones. I know Kristen talks about writing to Bev every morning, which is her beloved. There's many different forms of prayer. The important one is one that you feel connected and part of this oneness that you can experience in just this beingness that opens up in this feeling of oneness that you have. And some of it is also found in empathy. In sign language, in American Sign Language, there's a sign about things that are similar. So you point to, you said, this and this are similar. So in this and this are the same. It's interesting, young people right now, teenagers and young adults, have kind of co-opted this in a slang of American Sign Language. It's not official sign language at all. But they do this when someone's talking and they can relate to them. They do this. They point to the person's heart and then they point back to their heart, which means the same. I'm feeling the same as you. And so we want to do that, whether you use a symbol of it or not. We want to reach out and understanding other people at this time, because it is a challenging time to relate that they're the same as us. We have similar experiences, that we find our heart relates to their heart, that we really have one heart in this world. And I don't know about you, but sometimes my brain gets judgments of people going, or division or separation. And that's when I have to turn to my heart to find some empathy for someone, because I know we're all seeking this. Lisa's song today I just love, because she talked about forgiveness and love and accepting somebody doing the best they can, and that's what we have to do. We continually have to open up and just assume somebody's doing the best job they can, and get away from our judgments and just go that there's something there. I need to be open in my heart and recognizing that you have the same divine heart, this one heart that we all have, so we can open up to this. And finally, we want to know with our heart. The more we listen to it, the more we know with conviction and determination. And once again, this is what our practitioners do, is the knowingness in their heart. You often hear them say, I know this to be true. I know this. I know health. I know healing. I know wholeness. And this is the knowing that can happen in your heart. We go back to Ernest Holmes again, and when he said, I believe that the heart of the universe, the essence of reality or God, the living spirit, is of essence a pure feeling. I believe that feeling is back of every creative impulse, whether in God or man. So we have this deep feeling experience in our heart, and know that we can have more in our lives. There's a Native American wisdom teaching that says, listen to the wind, it talks. Listen to the silence, it speaks. Listen to your heart, it knows. So it's in our heart that knows. I heard a story today it was a video from Prince E.A. I don't know if you know him, but he's just an amazing lyricist and rapper, and he has amazing videos. And he shared a story about a mother, a rather tragic story about a mother whose only son was shot by another young adult, by not even a young adult, a 14-year-old kid. And this 14-year-old was in a gang, and it was part of initiation. And he was caught and convicted. And the mother, in her grief of losing her son, went to the trial. And when this young 14-year-old boy was convicted and sentenced to prison, as he was being escorted out of the courtroom, the mom stood up and said, I'm going to kill you, in rather emotional and grieving, painful, sorrow ways. And so the boy went to prison, and about a year later, this mom went to visit him in prison. And she met with him out in this common room, and they talked for a few minutes casually, and she found out no one else had been visiting him, because At the time when he killed her son, he had been living on the street. His mother had died a few years earlier, and his father, he didn't even know who he was. So he was living on the street, and not to give an excuse for what he did, but she had empathy that he was just seeking to belong. And so upon leaving, she gave him a few dollars so he could buy something at the jail there, the commissary. And from time to time, she would come back to visit him, and they would share stories. She would share stories of her son and the good times that they had together. And he would listen. And he would tell stories of times he had with his mom before she passed away. And she listened. As time went by, the years went by, he was turned 18 and he was to be released from prison because he had served his time as a juvenile. And she went to visit him one more time. She said, "What are you going to do now?" And he goes, I don't know. I don't have anybody. I don't know what I'm going to do. She said, "Well, I have a friend who has a small factory. Maybe you could get a part-time job there if you're interested." He goes, "I am. I'd work really hard." And she goes, "Well, where would you live?" And he said, I don't know. She goes, "Well, we could try it out if you want to live. I have a spare bedroom. You could live with me for a while, and we'll see how it goes." And so he got out of prison. He moved in with her. He began this job. He worked hard and was responsible for everything. And 6 months passed. And she goes, I need to talk to you for a minute. And so they sat down together, and she said, "I didn't know how this was going to work out, but you're doing wonderful. And I just want to know I'm proud of you for what you're doing." And he goes, "Oh, I so appreciate everything you did for me." He goes, "I wonder if you remember that day in the courtroom when I yelled at you." And he goes, "It's echoed my mind from the day you said it." She goes, "Well, I want to explain to you what I meant by that. When I said I was going to kill you, I didn't mean you, because I could see in you something, and especially as we meet more and more, I see something in you that's this wonderful kid, this wonderful person, this wonderful young adult now. And I wanted to kill the part of you that killed my son, that really wasn't a part of who you were." And he said that, "I think that part of me is dead now." She goes, "Well, I would like to act like your mother if you're willing for me to do that. I know you may not need a mother. You're 18, about to be 19. He goes, I'd like that too, if we could keep friendship." And so it continued. I don't know how it ended exactly, but they continued to be friends and stay in connection with each other. And I think for us, the story about that is not only about a mother's love that is unconditional and transforms and changes and nurtures people. Even her son who died was this amazing, loving person because of her, and this other young man became nurtured and loved and changed around that. But it's also about the part of us that doesn't serve us anymore. That with love, with this divine nurturing within ourselves, with friends around us, we can let go of, we can release, so that the real authentic self, our heart self, comes out. And that's what I'm seeking more and more, to listen to the heart so that I can know the truth of who I am, and how I can open up to this by simply allowing this experience of the heart to be renewed, recreated, re-empowered me, who I really am. So I invite you to do the same in every way. I have an affirmation for us today, and it's a little bit different. I want you to participate in it in a different way. And it is, I listen to my heart and I know. So I listen to my heart and I know, but the blank is going to leave open for you to say to yourself in the privacy of wherever you are now what you know. what you know about your truth, what you want to experience, what you know in your heart about you, about your health, about your wealth, about your relationships, what it is you want to create right now, and to listen to your heart and know that truth. So take a second to think about what that is. And then affirm with me, I listen to my heart. And I know, and then fill it in with what you know. I know. And you can even feel it in your heart. I listen to my heart and I know. I listen to my heart and I know. So as we step into prayer in this moment, I know the truth that you speak is already so. That because it comes from the heart, it is the truth. It opens up a greater life for you. And I know Spirit and the universe supports anything that resonates from the heart level. So right now we know that there is only God. And this is in this oneness of all life that our plate goes on. That we know our truth and we allow this balance of head and heart and body to integrate and allow us to be this knowing, powerful, authentic, loving person. And that we know the source of divine love, the divine feminine that is nurturing within us is renewable, constant, always moving in and through us. And we can always tap into that to help us create that experience that we want. So we know Spirit is right here with us, creating this and being this. And for this, we are so grateful today. And so it is. So now I'd like to invite Lisa and Mark back up for another song.
Thank you so much for having us. You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. Waiting at the station with the workday window blowing, I've got nothing to do but watch the passers-by. Mirrored in their faces, I see frustration growing, and they don't see it showing. Why do I? You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna treat you better. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. I have often asked myself the meaning for the sadness in a world where tears are just a lullaby. If there's any answer, maybe love can end the madness, maybe not, oh, but we can only try. You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. Then people gonna get together. You're gonna find, yes you will, that you're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful as you feel. Thank you. Thank you.
Much, Lisa and Mark. It was a blessing to have you here today. Thank you for sharing your talent. And thank you, Charlie, also for you being here today. It was great to have you and Kristen singing with the chants. It's great. And Phil and Shauna helping us with everything. So it's great to have everybody here. So this time in our service, when we want to honor those who have been giving to us during the week, I have all the letters from you and cards, and we so appreciate your support. And so we just hold these along with contributions from today to our heart, and know that the divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I receive, and all that I give. And so it is. I think so.
So now I would love to invite y'all to prayer. Is that what I'm doing?
And
Yes.
the children.
Yes, I would love to invite y'all to prayer. So we do have a prayer request form that Shauna will be linking on Facebook, and then I'll have to link it in a second on YouTube because YouTube's being weird. And just know that that link goes to a form where you can fill out a confidential prayer request form. We're still doing our ministry of prayer on Tuesday mornings, and we love you. We want to pray with you. We want to know what's going on with your life. If you would like one-on-one prayer with a practitioner, please email us at revjay@nvcsl.com. So revjay@nvcsl.com. And we're happy to hook you up with a practitioner as well. And we would love to bless all of our children, so the children of this community and all of our global children across the entire planet. We love you.
We love you.
We care about you.
We care about you.
And we're here for you.
And we're here for you.
Not a question.
Not a question.
It's a statement. We do love you.
And we bless all you mothers out there too, caring for their
Yes.
children during this time.
Yes.
So
Bless you, mothers.
bless
All the
you, mothers. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
All right. So you could just, usually we have you stand up for the congregational affirmation, but you can just sit right where you're at. So repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by Spirit.
I am led by Spirit.
I'm guided by wisdom.
I am guided by wisdom.
I'm protected by love.
I am protected by love.
I'm here to be a blessing.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am so grateful.
I am so grateful.
And so it is.
And so it is. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. We are making a new world now. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now.
So as we go forward, let us just get a big plate of soul for the integration of our body, mind, and our heart. And so it is. Have a great Sunday and happy Mother's Day.
Join us on Zoom right now. The
Oh.
link is going up as we speak. The link will be up, or you can find it on nvcsl.org, and we'll be there. I'm already there.
You're already there.
I'm already in there. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day.